Tinubu's Chicago blues and Nigerians shame. Not small blues. Oh. This is not really blue music. It's blue, green, yellow, and red now. It's more than just blues. This is a serious one. Oh. 3 significant things happened in Nigeria and about Nigeria in the last 10 days. And many more happened in the past several weeks. All of them speaking to the state of Nigeria. But the most significant perhaps was the story that broke on Sunday to the effect that a United States court in Chicago had rejected Nigeria's President Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu's urgent and desperate plea that a district court should strike down a ruling by a magistrate court that his academic records be released by Chicago State University. A brief on the process that led to the court's ruling on Saturday will be needful. About 2 weeks ago, Nigeria's former vice president, who was a contestant during the February presidential election in Nigeria, had approached a Chicago magistrate judge, Jeffrey Gilbert, for the release on oath of Tinubu's CSU records. The magistrate found in his favor and ordered that the documents be produced within 48 hours to aid Atiku's challenge of the declaration by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, of Tinubu as president on March 1st. Okay. The other principal contender in that controversial election, who is also in the Supreme Court, is the candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi. Yeah, how about this background? The latest development on the global embarrassment of Nigeria on the litigation over the Tinubu's academic records was simply pasted online by the court. It irreverently read, minute entry before the Honorable Nancy L. Maldonado for the reasons stated in the court's accompanying memorandum opinion and order. The court overrules President Tinubu's objections and adopts Judge Gilbert's recommended decision in full. In reaching this conclusion, the court emphasizes that it is expressing no view on the merits of Mr. Abubakar's underlying claims regarding President Tinubu or his graduation from CSU or the validity of the Nigerian election, nor is the court taking any position on what any of the documents or testimony from CSU may or may not ultimately show. The court simply finds on the narrow question before it that Mr. Abubakar is entitled to the production of documents and testimony that he seeks from CSU. Respondent CSU is directed to produce all the relevant and non-privileged documents in response to requests for production numbers 1 through to 4 in Mr. Abubakar's subpoena by 12 midday of Monday, October 2nd, 2023. Now, the deposition of CSU's corporate designee must be completed by 5 p.m. on Tuesday, October 3, 2023, given the October 5, 2023 filing deadline for the Supreme Court of Nigeria. The court will not extend or modify these deadlines. So further, the court notes that at the recent emergency hearing, the possibility of a stay pending an appeal to the 7th Circuit Court of Appeal was raised. So the court cautions President Tinubu that any request for a stay before this court will be denied, as the court finds any stay impracticable in light of the fast approaching Supreme Court of Nigeria deadline. President Tinubu is, of course, free to request a stay directly from 7th Circuit should he file any appeal. Judgment is entered in favor of Atiku Abubakar. So in spite of the avalanche of judicial precedents in the U.S., including the instances of the demand for a court-ordered release of the academic records of former American President Barack Obama and Donald Trump by their opponents ahead of their respective elections, no commentator dared to predict the outcomes of the demand. So it is not the same thing in Nigeria. soon after Judge Nancy Maldonado issued the ruling, and without waiting for what the discovery will throw up, Tinubu's Nigerian lawyers started salivating and celebrating, claiming that whatever Abubakar gets from Chicago will be dead like Dodo, and that they will be discarded by the Supreme Court. Okay, they reportedly said in a WhatsApp group platform that Abubakar had only succeeded in wasting his money and time in U.S. court and falsely raising the hopes of the headless mob in Nigeria. It is interesting how the headless mob phrase, which has been given life and weight by the fascist sounding and violence-prone Professor Wole Soyinka, now frequently appears in public statements of Tinubu supporters and promoters. Former Supreme Court Justice Mary Odili made similar comments in the days after she came under attack for virtually calling the presidential election petition tribunal judgment in favor of Tinubu. Okay, in favor of Tinubu even before the ruling was made. Yes. So at a public event on the eve of the PEPT judgment, Mary, whose husband Peter Odili, a former governor of Rivers State, is still enjoying a perpetual injunction from being probed for the period he was a governor, 1999 to 2007, had praised to high heavens the election petition wizardry of two of the Tinubu's attorneys. The event where she spoke had nothing to do with Tinubu's lawyers. So apart from assassination, the worst thing on record that the U.S. had visited on a foreign leader was the invasion of Panama in 1989 and the pursuit and arrest of its ruler, General Manuel Noriega, in 1990. He was wanted by the Americans for racketeering and drug trafficking. Before they fell out, Noriega was an intelligence asset and paid informant of the CIA from 1967. So the operation to invade Panama and capture Noriega involved 27,684 U.S. troops and over 300 aircraft. Of course, he was captured, extradited, tried, convicted, and imprisoned, and Noriega subsequently died. So the Noriega treatment was not common, not even when America was at its imperial worst, and America allowing itself to be compelled to compromise to release about 2,500 erstwhile secret documents on a foreign leader is not routine. Okay, heavily redacting the document will not remove the stain on the subject. Head or tail, Nigeria loses. So what are all this all about now? It's all about Chicago blues and Nigerian shame, of course. So everything about this Chicago music that we're dancing today about Tinubu and Atiku's expedition is all bringing shame to Nigeria, both home and abroad. And that is the gospel truth about the state of things in Nigeria as we speak. Okay? Now somebody is saying if Tinubu didn't attend CSU, there wouldn't be any record of certificate or document. Now they produce it, case closed. It's not about producing it now. They didn't go there to confirm whether he attended it or not. It's to confirm whether the certificates he's claiming to have are genuine or not. Or somebody say, which case closed? Do you compare what they released and what they submitted to INEC? That is it. Okay, so that is the question there. Okay, so nobody is above the law. Forgetting is a liable offense. Kudos to Atiku for unraveling what our mediocritic, hypocritic, corrupt field legislatives and legal advisors can't do. We are watching keenly the outcome of this melodramatic brouhaha. What has he reviewed? Don't worry now. The case is ongoing. APC Association of Political Criminals. So no case is closed yet. Someone saying God we trust. Nigeria is worse in APC government. And that is true. That is true. Somebody say, Oganoha, it is a shame just because your brother and candidate will be lost the election to President Tinubu, you and your people just want anyone so far, not be Tinubu. Why? So far not be Tinubu, can you imagine? Hate, nothing more. Chicago State University has attested to the fact that President Tinubu attended Chicago State University and accepted responsibility for whatever error noticed in the certificate. End of the road for gallivanting article and opportunities to be. Can you imagine? It's always a gestures of our time. You are a man of yesterday. It is all over for your principal. Abi, now wow, somebody say you lied. Open your eyes. Now wow, so people they are just fighting themselves. They just turn it to tribal war, and which is actually not the right thing. We need to be very, very objective in analysis and observations and in comment. It's about a better Nigeria and not about any individual. Let the Americans and their Western allies recolonize Nigeria, since there are no good Nigerians to rule us. Abi, maybe that is what we will resort to. He who breaks the wall must receive the snake bite. The ethnic chauvinists must at the end cover their faces in shame. Okay, who are the chauvinists? The beginning of the end of a once upon drug baron, forger, fraudster, criminal, identified thief, election rigger, etc. has come. Open your eyes and see. Wow. So this one now is Tinubu supporters versus Atikus and the APC and the PDP supporters. And then they are roping Obi into it. Even what Atiku is doing, they are roping Obi and Igbo into it. I don't understand. Atiku is not an Igbo man. That is where we need to correct. Atiku is not an Igbo man. So why putting everything that even the ones Atiku is doing in the US, they are putting Obi and the Labour Party in it? Face fact, man. Thank you for listening. Let's have your comments.